Hi, and welcome to an Emo Girl's Guide to the Galaxy, where we debate, rant, and curse too much. If you like books, sarcasm, and hate the patriarchy, then you've come to the right place.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm going to be talking about our updates and new releases in the book world. So I've got a couple that are coming out on July 26th. The first one is an adult fantasy, like folklore retelling, villain origin. It's called The Book of Gothel by Mary McMine, I think is how you say that. And this little blurb we have is that everyone knows the story of Rapunzel in the tower, but do you know the story of the witch who put her there? Told from her own perspective, The Book of Gothel is a lush historical retelling filled with dark magic, crumbling towers, mysterious woods, and evil princes. This is the truth they never wanted you to know, as only a witch might tell it. Which sounds dope. I don't think there's any romance in it, or if there is, it's not like forward or heavy, but seems like it's just
here for it.
Pretty much folklore.
Yeah,
fantasy.
I love anything Rapunzel.
Villain origin story.
This is very much Dev's thing with the tangled
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
options.
Mama knows best.
Forever, that will be the
But does
villain.
her hair go from gold, beautiful gold, to ugly, ugly, dirty brown hair when you cut it like a boy? Because
I guess we'll have to read it to find out.
Poop brown.
you know that the second you cut your hair, ladies, he doesn't like it anymore. It turns
Oh
brown.
my god. So ridiculous.
He's like, I signed up for a blonde. I don't know.
It's like the one part of that movie that I'm just like, really? We have to.
Pitting the two hair colors against each other. Alright, so the next two we have are adult rom-coms. The first is called Booked on a Feeling by J.C. Lee. And I believe this is the third book in her Sweet Mess series, but to me they all seem like standalones, though like there is crossover characters as like cameos. But this features our blurb says it features an overachieving lawyer, a failing bookstore, a childhood friend, and the chance of a lifetime. So it's like childhood friends to lovers kind of a deal. And I did a lot of sleuthing to figure out if there's spice. And so like a couple of reviewers said that it gets a little spicy. And then someone said on Instagram, this is In Our Bookshelf on Instagram, says the spicy scenes were well written, not too raunchy or cringe. But then the Book Fiend on Instagram set the record straight, in my opinion, basically saying that it was more steam, less spice, kind of a fade to black situation. And then another reviewer said mild spice. So up for interpretation, but I think you're not getting like anything too crazy there. But it's not nothing, I think.
I mean, to be fair, everybody's spice level is different.
Yeah.
So like, to them, raunchy or cringe could be like our normal level.
Yeah.
Our base level.
Like, when I was reading this, I was like, actually, this is not telling me very much. Like, we at least know that, like, there's
something
development in the character relationship, but
I feel like people should say if it fades to black or not.
Well, so this
like,
one person said it does fade to black. But
okay, so then that is real mild.
But so then other people are like, oh, it's a little spicy. But I'm like, I would not consider fade to black a little spicy, but we'll just have to.
Spice in my fade
someone
to
should
black,
read it for us and tell us the real.
I love that we have our priorities.
I'm going to be honest, I forgot what the book was about already because I've been focused
Oh, okay.
and I don't even
she's like a lawyer. There's a failing bookstore. She goes back to her hometown, childhood friend, to lovers, that kind of a thing. And then
I like all those things.
Then the next one is called For Butter or For Worse by Erin La Rosa.
God, I love it.
So this is kind of reminding me of like You Had Me at Hola, but like if the telenovela was like a Food Network show. So they're both co-hosts on a cooking reality TV show. And then I guess he like pisses her off with some kind of joke, and then she like quits on camera. But then the paparazzi, so it's like crazy drama. And then the paparazzi catches them in like a compromising situation that looks like they're having a secret romance. So then the fans go wild. So we got fake dating, enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine trope, and as far as I can,
grumpy sunshine trope.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell from my sleuthing on Goodreads and Instagram, that there is confirmed steam / spice. But as we've said, that is a bit up for interpretation, but these are the words the reviewers are using, that it's there and it's good. So those are our releases.
I'm on board for this.
Yeah.
I like
that
it.
That one sounds super
good.
fun. I'm into that.
All right. I'm Loreta, and it's time for our Around the Room updates. I will go first because I have several things. One, I have a giant skin knee now because I wish I was doing something fun. I wish I was like shredding on the skateboard or something, but I literally fell down my driveway walking down the driveway. And I have this giant skin knee, so I've been hobbling around everywhere and I have to clean it. It looks like I went to war and came back, but I literally just fell down my own driveway.
Oh, God.
But am I the only person who sees videos of that and, like, laughs first and then asks, like, are you okay second? And then, like, if they're okay, then you can go back to laughing. Like, that's my initial reaction.
You're not dead, right? Okay, it's funny.
It's very relatable.
I mean, that's what America's Funniest Home Videos, like, just was. It was, like, everyone just getting hurt or falling. Or ridiculous
laughing
things.
at like everyone's
my question is, was it funny? Like, at least would somebody walking down the street get a good laugh? But, like, also, are you okay?
I feel like it was pretty anticlimactic because I just like tripped and then I was on the ground and I don't know. Fred was there though and he didn't know I was gonna walk him and he was like, "What are we doing?" And he was all excited. Yeah.
Like,
this is a new game.
He's like, just get up already. I want to go on my walk.
Move, buddy. I'm gonna throw up.
Come on, lady.
But no, I'm fine.
Fred.
Secondly, I've watched Stranger Things Part 2, and I'm very upset. I would like the Duffer Brothers to compensate me for my emotional trauma.
No, don't tell me that. I'm so nervous. Tell me it's going to be okay.
It too, so.
Yeah, I've watched it.
No.
I really need to catch up.
It's rough.
It's bad, bad or like rough?
I'm not going to lie to you.
It's bad.
It's rough.
It's not bad. It's
rough.
Just a lot. It's a lot.
Okay.
Next season's going to be nuts. I don't even know.
Okay. So it makes you excited for the next season, or you're like, I hated that? Oh.
Both?
It's just a lot of, like, just mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for what's going to happen.
I cried several times in the span of, like, 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to catch up severely. I'll start season 2.
Oh, God. Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I'm in the middle
rough.
of 3. I'm in the middle of 3 right now for my re-watch. But
we
now,
can't really say anything else without
I know, I'm
spoiling
scared
it,
to
so
say anything.
I know, but guys, this makes me want to, like, slow down and not watch it.
It's rough. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 7 or an 8. I don't know. For me.
At least it's not over a 10.
God. Oh, God.
It's kind of like the ending of Kingsbane for me, in terms of, like, emotional turmoil. But only Jess will understand that, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, but I just heard you guys go on and on about Kingsbane and how devastating it was. So, like, that makes me even more scared.
That's what I'm saying. It's, like, devastating, but exciting devastating. Because you're like,
yeah, it's like both. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I've got to sit here and sleuth my life.
Okay, but it's not like the end of Supernatural devastating.
No.
Okay.
Not in my mind.
Okay, I was depressed for a really long time after that, so that's good to know.
I understand.
I cried.
I also wanted to mention that I started reading A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole for this episode, and it's really cute. I'm only, like, part of the way through. Because I've been a terrible reader lately with the world falling apart, but I like it a lot. And also Jess and I met in person in the flesh finally.
Yes.
Yay.
Which was really exciting and awesome.
I just have so much FOMO about that.
I know.
It was pretty cool.
We all need to get together and have our slumber party.
Yes.
Yep.
But that's all I got, so I don't know who wants to go next.
Oh, I'll go.
I'll go.
Oh, you go.
Or you go.
Oh, no.
Jinx. Let me a Coke.
Alright, I'll go. I finished the second Bellinger sister book. It's called Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. And it's super cute. I like binged through both of those. I wouldn't quite call it a duology, but I guess it kind of is. Because there's only 2 sisters and there's only 2 books, but yeah, I'm like really into fishermen now for some reason. Yep. But not like the guys you see on like dating apps who are holding a fish, but like guys who are like risking their lives on like boats with birds.
Deadliest catch.
Yeah, it's like the actual fisherman.
Yeah, it's like The Perfect Storm. Well, the first one was like The Perfect Storm meets Schitt's Creek, and then this other one was like just a continuation because that was her sister. Mm-hmm. But it was good. I enjoyed it. So that's what I
that's my so those are all my up-tos is I read the same 2 books Erin did and I met Loreta.
Oh, cool.
That's all my
that's perfect. We were just Trying to beat each
I
other
was
to say
in
the same thing.
I had to be in a wedding, and it was fun, and I got to get dressed up all cute.
Yeah.
And I got to sit and have my hair and makeup done by professionals, and
That's always fun.
My absolute favorite. Drinking an iced coffee with oat milk, sitting in a chair with somebody doing my makeup and hair for me is just peak.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Libra energy. So that was spectacular. But yes, we had fun. We went to a crazy cool art museum-y type situation.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's called Meow Wolf. It's like an art installation, but it's a whole building.
You can just it's like 5 stories tall, and you can run around and touch everything and play with stuff, and everything's pretty interactive. And
it's really dope.
My lovely son was running around going, lights off, chasing lights on the floor that like move as you move.
Lights stop! Lights stop! And then they stop, and he'd be like, where are the lights? You told him to stop.
He like put his little stuffed monkey on like a cape and had a Mickey Mouse hat and was just doing laps, running full speed, chasing
for like a
lights
solid
on the floor.
half hour at least.
Yeah, a very good amount of time. Still did not take a nap that day, but
I watched him lick some pita bread. That was great too.
Just lick it?
Yeah, he didn't eat it. He licked it.
He used the pita bread as a vehicle to get hummus in his mouth, and then just sat there and licked the pita bread, licked all the hummus off the pita bread he's a weird one, but
he's
we love
literally
it.
always living his best life, so that sounds awesome.
Always. So it was a good time. Yep.
Deb, what do you got?
All right. I bought Hades. It's a new game for my Switch because it was on sale, so I got that, and it looked really good. And you play as the Prince of Hell, and his name is Zagreus, and he's really hot. So I was like, here for it. And I started playing it last night, and it's actually really fun. It's like a dungeon crawler, so literally the whole goal is to try to get out of the underworld. It's like, I don't want to be here with you anymore, Dad. Like, I'm gonna go and live in Olympus. And so all of the other gods are trying to help you get out of the underworld, but the underworld is constantly changing. So every time you die, when you go back in, the doors and all of it, it's like a maze.
Oh,
and you just fight monsters, and you get different weapons, and you power up, and you get to interact with just different people from Greek mythology, like Achilles is in the underworld just chilling, and, you know.
I just bought this game too, and now I'm like super excited to play it.
Yeah, it's really fun. So now I have to
only good things.
Yeah, I have to figure out juggling, playing Hades, and like actually getting other adult stuff done. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's it. That's really it for me. I've been just living my low key life, trying to stay sane.
Me too. Same.
Cool.
All right, it's main topic time, I think.
All right.
Okay, this week we are talking about royalty, which I was trying to go through all of my books and figure out what I've actually read with royals, and I have come to the conclusion that I like to read about royalty that has superpowers and like cool magic, and that's kind of like where I am, where I skew. I am definitely not the one that's interested in like the royal family and what's going on with Queen Elizabeth and her corgis. I don't really care, but I know that it's a popular trope, so like if anybody has any good recommendations that are not magical, we can start with those, or we can just only talk about magical royalty. I'm cool either way.
I was going to say the same thing, Deb, when I was like trying to come up with things I've read, and I was like, it's pretty much all, like, we read a lot of fantasy, and then a lot of fantasy, especially high fantasy, there's going to be like the royalty sort of like aspect, I think, or like whatever the hierarchy or whatever it is. But I'm not typically just like picking up a book about like royalty.
Yeah, it's only Mia Thermopolis. Queen Amelia,
Obviously.
Munette, Thermopolis, Rinaldi is my royalty of choice.
Yeah. Same.
I have a couple. That is where we're at. I appreciate it. I have a couple that I'll start off with that are like that, so that when we get into the fantasy royalty, we can just like live there. So the one that I have is Romanov, and I guess but it's not fantasy. It's by Nadine Brandes, and it's about the like Anastasia and how she disappeared and like how they died, and it gets real deep into the family. I was like, they're not going to do this scene where they all get shot in the basement, are they? Oh, they are? Okay, we're just going to go through this. So it was rough for a YA level book, but it was really good too, because it's like you don't usually hear that Anastasia story. We think of like the cartoon where she's outlaws and blah blah blah, so you don't hear about them like hiding. And yeah,
I was just listening to you talk, right? And I was like, this sounds familiar, and then I realized I read it.
Yeah. So
it's good. It is dark.
Like, the Russian, it's dark. But it had an interesting ending. I don't even know how I feel about that one, but like it was a dark, more, I just don't know.
It's like the real story, but also fantasy. I don't know.
I was gonna ask, is it historical fiction or
it's like historical magical realism? I don't know.
They add one little magical realism thing that like changes everything at the end, but like you're really not. The majority of it feels like a historical fiction.
Yeah.
As much as people even know about what happened when the family like got exiled and all that.
Guys, I saw
it was weird.
Anastasia on Broadway. And
Me too.
Well, and they did some of the songs from like the kids movie, the like animated film. But I was like expecting it to be more that, and it wasn't. It was more like the actual story of like the family getting killed and all.
I loved it. I was so
obviously
I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, in that she was still like a lost princess, I think. But I was like, when is the talking bat showing up? When is like all the crazy magic?
Excuse me. There are not.
I give her a ha and a hi,
yeah, and a hi, a Bartok. Oh my god, I was like fully obsessed with him. So yeah, I was a little disappointed there, but
yeah, it's more about like the state of the entire country at the time.
Yeah,
and also Anastasia too.
Yeah,
really interesting.
But like with singing,
yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it, but yeah, it's different.
Yeah. I just like the crazy like theories that like people over time have come out and been like, I'm the missing princess, and everybody's like, okay, we actually recovered her bones now, so we definitely know it's not you. But
sorry.
Thanks for playing. But like there have been so many people over the years before they actually found what they think are her remains. Like because I got real into it when I read that book. I was like, I need to know more about this.
Yeah.
And it. Like, there have been so many people over the years who are like, I'm the missing princess. And they, like, didn't have any way of saying, no, you're not. And it's just wild.
We talked about this in one of my history classes in high school. And my teacher was telling us, that there was, like, this woman who came forward. And she was like, I'm related to I'm the lost princess. Or I'm related to her. And people were like, really? But I think it was proven that she wasn't or something. But then she knew all of this, like, information about the family. And it was really weird, so...
Yeah.
Oh,
see, but this also goes back to the fact that it's like not really a story about royalty. It's like true crime now, which we know Jess is obsessed with. So you're like,
no wonder.
That's what I was doing.
No wonder Jess is into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is also not really royalty. But it's called American Queen.
Okay.
So it's by Simone, and this is like a crazy erotic series. It's the first one is like the president of the U.S., so he's the royalty, so it's really president, but whatever. He's just like some young hot guy, but he's a dom, and he finds his like ex from forever ago.
This is not where I was
and
expecting
she's
this to
like,
go.
oh my gosh, I love him. But the vice president and him have been lovers, but she had also in the past been lovers with the vice president. Oh yeah, it's a freaking crazy ass triangle.
This is like White House sex drama.
Yeah, it's absolutely. That's it. And now they're like, well, she's got to marry the president, but she still loves the vice president. But they all love each other, but they don't want to talk about it. So they're just sitting idly by, pretending it's not happening. And it gets real kinky real quick, and it's like that's all.
Wait, I have something that goes with this.
I only read the first book. I didn't read the like American King and American Prince.
Wait, Jess, you can't go and that's all and drop all of that and that's it.
It was a lot. It was a lot of the president is a dom and there's a throuple, but they don't know they're in a throuple. She lost her virginity to the vice president, but not the president, and he was mad about it. No, it's like a whole.
She's a virgin.
That's like way back in the day.
Yeah, like they all have history.
Oh, I'm dying.
See, and this is also very unrealistic because all of that would already be all over the news. Like somebody would have uncovered that story, and everybody
what do you mean
would
it's
know
unrealistic?
Like
no NDA is worth it.
The memes on Twitter would just be off the chain.
But I'm trying to picture Joe Biden as a dog.
You don't know Biden's dark.
No, don't. God.
Oh, we were all
thinking it, but you didn't have to say it.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah,
I was gonna go with Obama, but then the Biden just had to happen. I don't know.
Wait, I have that book that goes.
Yeah, how old are the president and vice president in this book? Also unrealistic. We know that Americans only vote
they're
for
all
like
super hot
old white men.
Yes. No, they're like
so
these are all people who are hotter than Trudeau. So, and that's the honest what I can think of off the top of my head. So
he's the peak hot in the political scale. So
honestly, at this point, I think I would rather live in what is it, American Queen, like that. The reality that I want to live in right now.
Honestly, they do seem more responsible.
Hot, of course, dumb leaders.
Okay, wait, I have a book that matches this though, but it is actual royalty, and it's like the same premise. This girl,
here we are.
I read it for Smutathon, which is a smut-centered readathon. I haven't participated in a long time, but I read. It's called "Theirs for the Night" by Katee Robert. And this girl goes to a club with one of her friends. She meets these two guys, and she's like, "Hey, I'm really into you." They're like, "Do you want to come home with us?" And she was like, "Us?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're a package deal." So then they go home or back to their like hotel or whatever, and they have like a three-way. It's really kinky. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a prince, and this is my bodyguard." And they have like. And then,
oh my god,
no! And she's like, "What?" And then
I like it.
Their one night ends. Everyone goes home, and then like the prince guy can't stop thinking about her, and he goes back to get her, and then they become a throuple, and it's like a thing, and they have like a throuple in the palace. It's crazy.
I like it. Sounds good. Oh, and she also is the one that wrote the Dark Olympus series. Right?
I didn't even put that together until I was making my notes, but yeah.
I just saw the name and I was like, oh, I read a throuple by her too. There we are.
Likes what she likes.
That was Achilles and Patroclus, but
so yeah, we have the American version and the European royalty version of the same story.
You know, it works.
Yeah.
See, I think that's why I like the versions of royalty books that I read, and also movies where they try to make it seem like royal people like want to be like regular people, and they're like, I don't want to be stuck in the palace. Like, I want to go live my life like all of the freaking all the freaking normal people, and then they run away, and then they meet somebody who's normal, who's just like chilling in their dirty apartment. Yes. Eating fast food.
I love that movie.
The Prince and Me with Julia Stiles. Yeah. I live for that scene where he pulls up in his car and they're playing that Cake song. Like, I could watch that on repeat all day.
Yes.
And it's just,
I love that movie. I'm going to go watch that movie
today.
His bodyguard / assistant is not very good looking or young or, you know, would be part of a threesome, so.
I feel like
he makes a mean egg, though.
He's hotter than we give him credit for. I feel like if we looked at him now as an adult, we'd be like, oh, he's actually fairly hot.
Probably.
I'm currently looking this up because I feel like
this is important.
I feel like that like plot outline of like, I need to escape the palace and be regular is like the plot of like a million Christmas movies, right? Like, and then they go back to the palace for Christmas, and it's like
all of the royal Hallmark movies are like that.
But have you guys seen The Christmas Prince on Netflix and all the subsequent ones?
Yes,
they're
all of them
so bad. But I am so like,
I love them so much.
I can't not watch them. They're
okay. Soren's not a hot old guy. He's like mediocre. And that's sad.
I was rooting for him.
But the prince himself is, in fact, still super hot, so, you know.
Also, another important series that I feel like I need to bring up is the Selection series by Kierra.
Oh my gosh.
I always want to read it, and I just never do. I have the first one.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I was gonna say, are they good? Because I've heard so many things about this series.
You should read it because it's just hilarious.
Really long time ago.
There's a love triangle though, so you'd hate it probably.
Okay.
But it's
as long
very
as I go into it,
I don't know.
It's a very obvious love triangle though, so we all know who she's choosing.
But it's very much kind of, oh, you know what it reminds me of, the love triangle in Red Queen, if you think of her friend at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Kieran, or not Kieran, is it Kieran?
Something like that.
If you think of that in the way that it's kind of like that, where he wasn't really in the love triangle, but like you thought he was going to be.
He inserted himself into the love triangle.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and then you're like, wait, wait, why are you here? Yeah, it's more like
he's
that.
Wait, what about me? And then she's like, no.
Gale, Peeta, and Katniss.
Get out of here, bro.
One is like super annoying, and the other one is obviously the better choice, and then the other annoying one like cries about it, and then there's like, why did you do this to me?
No, I prefer them just to be like, I like
that
you.
They cast him as Liam Hemsworth because they made people want Gale to win when you never wanted Gale to win.
Ever.
But they made people want to because Liam Hemsworth is absurdly hot.
Stupid
and
hot.
it's not that the Josh isn't hot. It's just like he's so stupid hot that like it wasn't fair. That was fair.
No, probably they did that on purpose though, to be like he needed something else.
For like, yeah.
You don't have the personality, so you have to have the looks.
It is funny that he like had no personality, so like get the hottest guy you can find. Make him Australian.
Yes. Make him Australian. No.
But also in the books, does anybody else remember that Peeta's described as like a football player? Like she talks about how he's like big and brawny, because he like lifts a bag of flour and he's all like a wrestler, like.
But then he's like a teddy bear.
And I'm like,
he's like this brawny little teddy bear.
Yeah.
Like, aren't there multiple times when she's trying to save him and like haul him into that cave, and she had a really hard time getting him in there because
he's big.
Listen, Josh Hutcherson as Peeta,
he nailed
hot. I loved him in that series, but like I wish they would have found like a big stocky teddy bear to play Peeta too.
Yeah, or like give him some CGI body parts.
They should have. If it wasn't around the Twilight time, they could have pulled Kellen Lutz for that one, and that would have been.
It's true.
Yeah,
that would have been
good too.
But it was too close to Twilight.
Way too close.
This is a good segue into our fantasy royal part of this
we know
episode.
Best.
We live there.
Yeah. I have a lot on here, so I guess I'll kick things off
away
with King of Battle and Blood, which I literally just added to my list.
It's so good.
Which is also vampires and also royalty.
And also very smutty.
And also very smutty, and it comes with the one king to another. I'm gonna barter for your daughter, and she's gonna come marry me unwillingly, because like that's what royalty does, I guess, but it's really good. And
I love an arranged marriage that turns out well.
Me too.
I live
for it.
That turns out well. Like I don't know. I really like an arranged marriage where she's like, yeah, I'm doing my duty. And he's like, so there's a couple that I've seen that are like, it's an arranged marriage, but he's like, I'm just stuck doing this. I didn't even want to do this. This was not part of what I wanted at all. And then like they end up falling in love anyway, even though they're like, we're just doing our duty. I don't know. It's kind of fun.
In King of Battle and Blood, the dad does like tell her like, you don't have to do this. Like, absolutely not. This is not what you need to do, and she's the one who decides to do it anyway, because she's trying to save her kingdom. So she's the one who makes the decision at the end of the day, and then you do find out what the point of the barter was, like why it was even brought up in the first place. So it was done tastefully, I guess. I don't know. I liked that.
It didn't make me mad at all.
Yeah.
There's an arranged marriage in the Bridge Kingdom, which was like, it felt like it had a point. I like an arranged marriage if like he also, like what you said, Jess, where he's like, I don't really want to do this, I'm just doing what I have to, but she is like, I don't believe you, and it's like trying to escape the whole time. Like, I like that. And like, or if she successfully does escape, and then they fall in love later, and then she's like, fine, I guess we'll go back to what we were supposed to do.
I forgot about Shadow in the Ember for that. Shadow in the Ember is my favorite kind of weird, awkward, arranged marriage of like I don't even know what happened in that situation, but I loved
what book
every
is that?
minute. It was like kidnapper, go.
That's the
Shadow in the Ember. It's
the prequel to Blood and Ash.
Blood and Ash. You have so we will stop there. But it's excellent.
Yeah.
So good.
Also, The Kiss of Deception has all of the things that Erin just mentioned that she loved. There's also
yes, that's why I like
mystery involved in the first book, so that way you don't know who's who, and it's the best. So
it's so good. I want to reread that.
So for me,
for anybody who doesn't know what the series is, there's a princess, there's a prince, and there's an assassin. And the prince and the assassin are both after the runaway princess. And the princess meets both of them, and you meet both of them, but you don't know who is who. So the whole time you're reading book one, you're falling in love with one or the other, or maybe both. And you're like, I don't know who's here trying to kill her, and who's here trying to like bring her back to safety. Yeah. What's going on?
And I'm just the dumb. We've definitely talked about this before, but I was just a dummy reading it, didn't even realize that. Like, I guess I just made up in my mind who was who. And one of you guys was like, "Oh, have you figured it out yet?" And I was like, "What? I didn't know. We didn't know." And then I was like questioning everything I had already been reading, like halfway through the book. Like, oh my god,
I love it.
What?
I was keeping notes. I was like, guy one has blonde hair and I don't know.
I figured it out and just decided what it was, and I was like, if this is wrong, I'm gonna really hate.
No, I think I had it wrong. Sure I had it opposite, but I didn't realize I was supposed to be like trying to figure it out. So
even better.
Yeah, I was like,
so I saw, Loreta, that you put Fantasy of Frost on here and the Tainted Accords, and I don't know why I didn't put it on there because like
you're the one that told me to read it.
No, that's
right, and it's one of my favorites, and I just like totally blanked it. But King Jovan, I will die for that man.
No, you're all about the lap sitting on the throne.
Who doesn't love a good throne lap sit, really?
Well, he like never wears a shirt, and he's from this freezing tundra, and he's like, I don't ever need a shirt.
I'm never
hot.
cold.
It's fine.
I'm not weak.
I want a wool cape and giant stomping boots, and I want to accidentally slam every single door I walk through because, like, I don't know how strong I am. The doors just keep breaking. I don't know what's wrong. He's just like, he's so the ultimate himbo like that, where he's like trying to be this big, massive, like, I'm the king guy, but he also is just a complete and utter idiot.
Yeah. But in the best
wonderful way. Yeah. I love him. He's such he's the best.
I love
I don't
him.
even know.
I really need to read that.
I love him so much.
It's so
you
good.
Would love it.
The beginning is weird. That beginning I was reading and I was like, what is happening? But then I got, it gets
the heroine
really good.
is an absolute badass.
Yes.
She can kick anybody's butt.
Has everybody read it? Yeah, you guys all have. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you read all 4, Loreta?
No. I got halfway through, I think.
You got to read all 4.
I think I finished them.
No one's shocked.
There are a lot of spin-offs. I know. There are a lot of spin-offs.
Do I ever finish a series? No.
I think there are 3 or 4 novellas after the end of it.
Really?
For some of the side characters. Yeah, like Sin gets one and Olandon and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's motivation.
And some of the other guys that she meets along the way, they all get like spin-off novellas.
Jess, you want to give everybody a quick summary of what the series is actually about, though?
Yes. So there are 2 worlds, essentially. One is like the hot, dry, arid world, and then one is like the freezing tundra kingdom.
They're literally different worlds, like floating in the air.
Yeah, like they're floating in the air, like different, not planets, but like pieces. And they have to, like, they spin in different directions from each other so that at any given point in time, the outer circles are in different rotations with the other land. And so it causes different weather things. But, like, essentially they've just been fighting for forever. And there's a queen over here and a king over here. And then, like, ambassadors, like, some ambassadors from the glacial thing come over to where the more arid climate. And the girl is from there. And so she's, like, talking and flirting and like falling in love with one of these guys from the ice area, and then some stuff happens. She ends up kidnapped and like taken over to the other side, and they're like trying to figure out what's going on. And she's like, I just got my ass kidnapped, and she's really strong, so it's weird that she did. But they have to like hike over these mountains and get over there, and then she essentially gets to that other kingdom and then starts to be like, oh, things are not the way I thought they were. And
she also has
a
face covering. They make her wear a face covering, and that's part of the mystery.
She's never
like,
even
why do I have to
looked
wear
in
this?
a mirror. So she's never looked in a mirror, and she's been forced to wear this face covering, and nobody else has ever done that. So her mom and like one other guy are the only ones who have ever seen her face. I think it might even just be her mom. Like her brother hasn't even ever seen her face. And so she gets over to the Ice Kingdom, and then she figures out, like, she finally sees a mirror, and she figures out
the mystery
stuff. Yeah. And then I don't know. It's 4 books. It's really good. It's lots of fun.
Yeah,
I loved it.
2 thumbs up.
Yep. That's by Kelly St. Clair.
I was going to say, it's a miracle that I finished the Throne of Glass series, which is another royalty book, but
the best.
Yeah, I read all those. And
that falls into Erin's high fantasy where there's some type of royalty involved in some type of story. At any given point in time, you're like, oh, who's this person? Is he related to this prince dude? Oh, no.
Yes.
What about this guy? Are you royalty? I don't know.
Yes. Like, it's the backdrop, but it's not, like, the whole driving everything, you know? I mean, kind of, but there's fantasy happening.
Yeah. Or the royalty, like, actually goes out and fights and knows how to use weapons. And you're like, this is really cool. You're not just like, sitting in your castle delegating orders.
Yeah, just being assholes and, like, doing, like, the court, you know? Like that. Know. That's weird. When I was looking into this, like, what I've read for this episode, I forgot that I read this like historical fiction book forever ago, and now you guys know that's not like a genre I ever pick up. I don't know why I read it, but it's The Other Boleyn Girl. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And they made a movie out of it.
They made a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen the movie.
But so it's about
is it the
Anne and Mary Boleyn, and like Anne marries Henry the VIII, and it's like one of them was like his like mistress, and then the other one marries him, but like that was like his first wife that he like killed. So he like divorced. And then I was like looking. Then I was like up late last night, like looking into Henry VIII.
So he divorced Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah, he divorced her, which was crazy. And then he killed Anne. And then he had like 4 more wives after that. And another one he killed. Yes. He was just chopping heads off left and right. I thought he chopped a lot more heads off, but it was only a couple of heads. But still, one of them died in childbirth. 2 of them he chopped their heads off. Yeah. One of them he divorced. One of them he just like was like, never mind. I don't even think it was a full divorce. But anyways, I read that. Yep. But I was like, that was not a feel-good book. I didn't.
What a fun guy.
What a fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he changed the church policies just so that he
started his own church. Yeah. The church didn't let him divorce her, so he said, all right, I'm going to start my own religion. And then that also caused like a religious conflict in his kingdom.
Yeah.
You know.
And so that's the moment the church split, because he was like, I don't like this girl. Yeah. Let me do what I want. Yeah. I'm going to just make my own religion. And then he came up with the Church of England.
Is that when the Church of England started?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the specific religious sectors, but I know he did start his own religion just so that way he could divorce a girl. Like,
what a man thing to do.
So let's go patriarchy. Yeah,
so anything based in real royalty, I'm not too interested in. If it's
only interesting in like the true crime element where you're like, they locked those 2 kids up in the tower, like, what happened to those little boys? Yes. They were princes. And then you find out, like, all of the crazy stuff that they did. But I don't even remember what story that is, but I know that it happened.
We love to talk about how, like, oh, it's fantasy, that kind of crazy stuff. Why are you reading that trash? Blah, blah, blah. Well, reality is far worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, the cool thing about, like, the royalty trope in, like, fiction and particularly, like, fantasy is that they can... Like, there's the hope that they're going to change it. They're going to overthrow the current regime, or they're gonna take the throne, and then they're gonna just change the way. They're gonna modernize you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's like kind of fun. Whereas in reality, like change is so fucking slow, and history is fucking dark. So less enjoyable for me. I'd rather read.
Actually, that you bring that up,
present.
If you do want like a more quote realistic trajectory of like government and all of that stuff, like Erin said, it goes slower. Red Queen, I think, actually does a really good job of portraying like actually how people would react to things that are happening. So in Red Queen, you have the kingdoms that are all scattered across the land, and then two princes, the queen who's evil, of course, and like all of the other stuff that happens. And one of the main characters acts very much like you would expect. Like, you want him to act differently because you're like, I love him so much, aka me. Yeah. But he acts exactly how you would think he would act, where you're like, he's like, oh, well, my father, the king, taught me all of this stuff, and now you're telling me that this isn't true, and I don't know what to believe. And the change in that book, in that series, is actually, I think, more realistic than a lot of the other fantasy series.
I agree with you. It does not mean I like him, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
but I still hate him. But
and I think that's why people like have so many issues with that series, is because it's more realistic. Yeah, it's more realistic of like how the characters would react to more problems. Like, obviously you want book characters to rise against their parents and be like, you're wrong, this is how we're gonna start living our lives. But in reality, they wouldn't necessarily do that. They'd be like, I learned this for 21 years of my life. Like, how can you be telling me this is all a lie? Like, maybe we can figure it out. Like, maybe we don't have to go to war. Maybe we can do, like, you know, swipe it under the rug.
That's true. Yep. I have recently been thinking I need to, like, unhaul that series, though, because I just don't think I can read the fourth book. It's been too long.
It's rough. It's long.
So
it is. I had some issues with the fourth book, but it was still a pretty good ending.
The third book is my favorite, even though, like, it's probably everybody's least favorite. It's just the biggest mindfuck, and I lived for every second of it. I am so far gone. I know that I am obsessed with this villain, and I know that it's a problem, and that he's just, like, murdering and caging people, and it's bad, but I don't know why I like him so
for Maven so hard.
So hard, and it doesn't make any sense. I have no excuse.
It's okay.
Also, Ash Princess, when we're talking about things getting crazy, I haven't finished that series. It's a trilogy, and it's about a kingdom being overthrown, like a queendom, actually. Queendom being overthrown by a kingdom, and the kingdom saves the princess. So the first book starts off wild. Like, the little girl who's the princess, she's like 10 maybe, she's really young. She sees her parents die. Like, she sees her parents being murdered.
Doesn't she, like, behead her own dad, though?
I don't remember,
I think she
potentially.
Has to, like, they pulled him in.
Or maybe it's the mom. No, and then the mom.
No, she beheads her own dad because they abduct her, and then, but she's from, like, a matriarchal society, so she didn't really know for sure who her dad was. But they bring in this bad guy, and they're like, we caught this guy, show your allegiance to your new kingdom that you've been abducted into. And she's like, I have to do this in order to do things. And he looks her in the eye, and she's like, I saw him say, yeah, it's okay, go ahead and do it. And so she you're right. Murders her own dad.
Wow.
Even though she's still on his side, she's trying to.
Yeah, so she's like, I have to kill my own people in order to survive.
It starts like that?
Jesus.
Yes, this is like the first few chapters. Like, you meet her, and she's basically her land is getting conquered, and they come in, and they're like, cool, you can live, but you basically have to kill your people to show that you are going to be chill with us. And then fast forward, and she's now like a teenager turning into an adult, about to figure out like what's going on.
So she had to do that as a child, like a little kid. She had to do that. Oh my god.
I can't remember if she did it as a kid or if it was like later on down the line that she actually had to kill her. But like in the first part, it's telling you about that, how she gets abducted, and then she's been raised with the princess from the new place. And so like they raised her alongside,
or like a lady in waiting, like
as like I think as a lady in waiting to the princess there or something, like to be besties.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's but like they always reminded her, like, you know, you're from that other one and you're not a real princess. And then they bring in like a guy who they caught trying to get across the lines, and it was her dad. But it wasn't her dad in the sense that he raised her. It was her dad in the sense that like he was one of the soldiers. She knew that he was her biological father, but because they had a matriarchal society, like It was wild.
She does see her mom die. Like, that is a thing that happens.
Oh my god.
And it's really wild, but like, it's about revolution. It's like,
is it
crazy.
Good?
I liked it. I read the first two books.
You're telling me these things.
But she's like, goes through like the journey of like realizing who she is and being like, I have to take back my kingdom, and I'm like here for it.
I just want to make sure because like you were telling me,
and also there's magical powers, so like that's also a thing. So obviously, yes, it's good.
Okay,
These are good though.
Obviously.
Yeah,
that is so.
all of that to say,
There's also
it's a good
love
series.
triangle, though. I think there's a love
Oh my
triangle.
god! I feel like you guys are just pointing out all the bad stuff.
I don't.
So
I
funny.
mean, I was just saying that it's a wild like
Yeah.
introduction
Wild ride.
to like
Yeah.
like that seems like something that would actually happen.
I was gonna
since,
say, that's pretty
Henry
realistic.
beheaded
Yeah.
a bunch of women. Like that's also
That's true.
Royalty
on
is
par
very
with
off
royalty.
your head.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
so speaking of royalty and everyone getting killed, I feel like we have to mention Game of Thrones because that's definitely royalty stuff, like different kingdoms.
Yeah, true.
And a lot of people get
I
killed.
haven't read any of the books. I read the first book,
all of them.
and that's it.
I read all of the ones that are
Ugh.
published, and I watched all
You're
of the
stronger than I
show.
am.
Yo,
I watched all of the show, I read the first book, and then after I read the first book, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this because then I'm just going to be upset at everything the show changes.
Yeah.
So then I didn't continue.
And there's no last
I made it to
book
like
yet,
season
there's
2
supposed to
of
be
the show.
2 more books, and this guy, the last
Yeah.
book that came out was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, he doesn't even care though. I don't think he even wants to write them.
He doesn't like to be pressured. The
I don't
guy does
know.
not like to.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
goes,
well,
the
he
more
shouldn't have
you
gotten-
the more you talk crap, like the longer you're going to have to wait. So,
Yeah, 100%. No, but
Yeah.
I picked those books up.
He's already got all the money he needs.
Because
So.
like right before they announced the show, Andrew had already read those books, the first like couple that were out, the first like
Mhm.
4. And then he was like rereading them, and I was like, "Oh, like what are these?" We were talking about them, and he's like, "I just feel like I've always felt like they need to like make these into a movie or something." And then literally, I feel like it was like the next week they're like announcing the show. We're like, "That's so weird." And then I felt like we were early dating, so I was like, "Oh, I should read these books. You like them? Let me like what you like." So then he got them for me, and I felt so compelled, especially because then we were watching the show. But they're an undertaking, and it is infuriating because they're not done yet.
It's a lot.
And I have a hard time recommending people to read them, but they're good.
I
Yeah.
made it to season 2, and there's a scene where I don't know anyone's name or the kingdoms or anything. It's been so long, but there's a scene where this woman is pregnant and she has like red hair or something. I think she's a witch and she's like an advisor to some king or something. And she crawls into like a cave and she gives birth to smoke. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna peace. Thanks.
that's
Like some
if
shadow
that's the
creature.
scene that got you to peace out, then like you missed out on a lot of the other stuff that I think is
I wasn't.
a
I mean, I didn't
hardcore.
purposely do that. I was like, I'm gonna take a break, and then I never
mean,
went
in
back.
the first season, you see a kid get pushed off a tower because
Yeah.
he sees something that
Ugh.
he shouldn't be seeing, and like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that
I
would
was in
a
it
lot
for
of people to
Khaleesi
peace
because I
out.
wanted to see the dragons, and I didn't even make it to the dragons.
The dragons are really
Yeah,
cool.
the dragons are dope.
I saw, I watched the first 2 seasons, I want to say. I think I started season 3 and just kind of tapered off. I always say I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it, but I think I like just missed the wave where
Yeah.
and it seems like it would be exactly my thing.
And everyone
but-
was so mad at the end, and I'm like, this is not motivating me.
everybody's just like
Yeah.
it got spoiled
It was
for me,
bad.
which like it should. It's been out for a while, but like it was just so overwhelmingly in your face that I feel like I know what happens, and I just don't know that that's fun for me
Yeah.
anymore because I missed
I
the
agree.
timing for it.
Agree. And the
So,
ending will piss you off.
I feel like it does have more realistic royalty dynamics, though,
Yeah.
like royal dynamics, like what actually
For
happens.
sure.
I mean, minus the
Murder
magic,
and
but like
incest.
humans, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
them
People suck.
interacting with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, yeah, just like a bunch of evil.
Yeah,
A bunch of evil royalty people trying to like backstab each other.
Yeah, like if you just want like the
Mhm.
main person that you like to be like pure and altruistic and save the day and be on top and win,
Not
and then
that
they rule the
show.
kingdom and they rule it perfectly, like you're not gonna get that.
Yeah.
And that's
Basically,
least
if they're any of
realistic.
those things, they die. Yeah. If they're good in any
Yeah.
way, like,
yeah, and the one
chances are
and
they're
the one
dead.
person that was like close to that, he like at the end is still like is not
Yeah.
on top. So, which
Right.
I like to read when all goes well and everyone wins.
Happy
We
ending.
need happy rom-com life, so we
Yeah.
are not for that.
Gosh, I didn't
Speaking
know.
of-
Okay, I could give a positive or fun, happy
Yeah.
recommendation in Ella Enchanted then.
Yes,
Yay!
Oh, we love
That's a fun
it.
one.
I never read that book, but I love the movie.
Oh,
The movie
I
is
read that
so
book in elementary
good.
school. I read that book. I got it from the Scholastic Book Fair and read it in elementary
Oh my
school.
god,
and
the
it was,
Scholastic Book Fair.
Oh man,
I love that.
I was in like 5th grade, and I was like, yes. And I got that book from the book fair, and it was it was over for me. I loved it so much. Such a good, and you know, why is it that Anne Hathaway is just over here
the
being
best
our dream princess?
Amazing.
All the
Yeah,
time?
the best princess.
She really is. She's the best.
Yeah.
I love it. So if you're looking for something that's just fluff and, you know, Cinderella-y,
Also, Lunar Chronicles is really good.
Always.
Oh yeah, Lunar Chronicles is
Like a
fun.
missing princess thing, right? Yeah.
It's happier. It's not all happy. But.
Prince Kai.
That whole series is just
We love it.
fun.
And then there's also
so
Kingdom on the Moon, so we have like two different
Evil Moon
different kingdoms involved. Yeah.
Lunar Chronicles.
Yes.
Got it.
Alien royalty, who doesn't like some sci-fi thrown in.
There you go.
There you go.
And they're also fairy tale retelling, so every single book is a different retelling. And I do like that each book is centered on different characters, like different main characters, and then everybody converges into like one storyline.
Press is my favorite.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
When they squat up, you're just like, yes! The
Yeah.
build-up is so
Finally!
Yeah.
good. They're all together.
They're like, they all met, yay!
You just want them to like
I've been
put their hands
waiting.
in the middle and do like a huddle or something.
Group hug.
And he said, great.
Yeah. Love that. Good stuff.
And also, I think I have a few more, but one of the last on my list is The Cruel Prince, just because everybody is obsessed with that series.
Of course.
And it involves Fae, so why not? Like, Fae royalty,
Yeah.
we covered every single type of royalty.
We gotta throw that in. I like that series.
And this royal has a tail, so if anybody's into royalty with tails, like, you got that in The Cruel Prince.
I liked that one.
Anytime I think of that now, I still think of that meme that I saw somewhere on Instagram where it was like, if he was like texting you, like, hey, I showed you my tail, like, why are you not texting me back?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's excellent.
I just always think about that. I liked that series. It could have been way better, but it was still good. It was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one that's very Game of Thrones, but like YA Game of Thrones. And it's called Falling Kingdoms. And I read like the first 4. I think there's 6 or 7 of these. But it's like 4 different people from all over. So there's like a thief and then a princess from one side and a prince from the other side and then his sister. And they're all kind of like swapping, and some of them have power, some of them don't. And like one kingdom's trying to invade the other, and she's like, why is this guy invading? But you get all 4 POVs throughout all the books. And so then there's like these 2 end up around each other and like meet, and then they fall in love, but then something else happens and she goes over here, and like there's just a lot of dynamics like Game of Thrones where people end up running into each other. So like for the first book, a couple of the main characters like never even meet because it's like over time and the way that they get like through. So and there's like these outer world beings of something, I don't know, but it's really fun. It's got it's YA, but I read like the first 4 like last year and just cruised through them. I was having a good time.
That sounds awesome. I love when there's like
it's fun.
Different POVs like that.
Yeah. And it's good because like you're following along with them from the different aspects of what's going on, but then they're not even necessarily interacting until like the second book or the third even. So
that's cool.
That's
cool.
Very Game of Thrones. There's way too many point of
it
views
is.
though. So it's like
but it's only 4.
What is going on?
4. 4 point of views. That's all I can take on that.
Amount.
4 is a reasonable amount.
More than that, and it's just out of control.
One of my friends told me that in the Game of Thrones books, there's a book that goes through events, and then the next book is the same events in a different POV. And I was like, I don't know. That would piss me the fuck off. I don't know if I could do that.
It's not like all the same events, but like
is a
there
big,
is a cross.
Tell me what's going to happen. I don't care about this other person.
I would say though, it's like some of the events cross over, but it's like a little bit of sort of like how Tower of Dawn is. So it's like happening at the same time, but there's like a lot of other things that are going on, but they are happening simultaneously. So then like there's ripple effects with all the things that happen that then impact the next book. But I mean, there were certain things that like, like, if you were watching it, I guess, it'd be like, these people are happening over here, and, like, they're creeping by the wall. So, like, you already know kind of, like, oh, what the scene is going on up here, but now you're seeing something where they're, like, off to the side or doing something. Yeah, kind of like that. If I'm remembering correctly, which...
Yeah.
That's
cool. I feel like that's why I like viewing and watching high fantasy stuff more than reading about it. Usually, it's because there's so much stuff going on at one point in time, and you're getting so many different perspectives, and I'm like, I just want to know what's going on. Like, can't we just do, like, an all-knowing being telling me instead of, like...
Deb just needs an narrator. She just needs an aerial view of, like, the whole plot.
Yeah.
Like, Lord of the Rings is always, like, my go-to example. I've tried so many times to read that series, and for whatever reason, I can't get past, like, 150 pages in.
It's so good,
but I'll watch those movies over and over and over and over again. But when I try to... I'm like, why did I just spend 20 pages reading about the details on this door? Like, I don't even remember what's happening.
Dude,
now.
those are books that you definitely can, like, skim stuff for sure. Because it's like, I read a meme too being like, it's the whole story is like a memoir from the Hobbit, so it's like their perspective of all the food and all the things. So I was like, that's a cool way to think of it, I guess. 30
pages of Fellowship of the Ring is like a detailed history of Hobbit life and how all of the families break out and how they interact with each other, and like this Hobbit dude and this Hobbit dude are friends, but then this Hobbit dude, they're not friends, and like there's like
all
different
the gossip.
types of Hobbit. There's like marsh hobbits, and then there's like the whole like the hill hobbits and all of the different hobbits.
It makes you think you're gonna be hanging out with the hobbits. It makes you feel like you're gonna be with the hobbits for a long time, but then like pretty quickly they're like, all right, we're leaving the Shire. Bye. And there's only a couple.
We're gonna go meet some royalty.
Only a handful of hobbits are like on the journey.
Yeah.
And then they all get split up. But I love those books. I feel like they did a really good well, obviously those movies are amazing, but I think they did a really good job like sticking to the source material. Like they're an adaptation I've read and watched, and I feel like it's pretty on par. Like there are like full sentences that they've taken out of their like dialogue, like just word for word from the book, which I'm like, good, because that's how you make it good.
Yes. I agree.
That's how you don't piss anyone off.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll read them all.
Yeah, you should just start. Just open it up in the middle and just be like, I've got to be somewhere close to where I left off. Or if they start talking about food and doors, just skim ahead.
I don't need to know the family tree of all of the elves and all of the kings and all of the.
That should just be like an appendix at the end. Although you are the kind of person that does like to know family trees, so that is surprising that you're like,
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not the details that get to me. It's the fact that you spend like a good portion of each book spent like chronicling those details.
Yeah,
like,
it's getting in the way of plot.
If the character is not important, like I don't need to know that this dude who lived hundreds of years ago had a feud with like this other dude who also lived hundreds of years ago. If it doesn't matter, like just tell me
how
these
is
guys
it impacting us now.
Exactly. Like if it's a family tree related to characters now, like, yeah, totally. Let me know who they marry, who their kids are. Like, the kids go on adventures? Yes. But I don't need, like, 40 pages worth of, like, this door had so many silver glowing runes on it, and everybody's sitting around trying to figure out what the puzzle is, and nobody can read the runes, and then we go back and we see that there's moss on the door, and now we're thinking that the moss relates to the runes, and now it's daytime. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Like, I don't think too many details.
What's happening?
Anyway... and now we don't even remember what we're talking about. That's my point.
I don't.
I have a book.
I was like, I don't know.
I have a book I wanted to shout out. One of the books I wanted to mention is Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford, because I feel like it's super underrated and I never hear anyone talk about it. And I really liked it. It was fun. It's a YA book. And I'm forgetting the details of it now. Is there there's this, like, village in the water. They, like, live on the sea.
Yeah, the water village.
And then, is there a contest or something?
Yeah, so there's there's the kingdom and the
pearl
water
diving
village.
thing, right?
And then the girls from each family, like the most beautiful, gets picked to go
to the mainland on the castle. Yeah,
to go live in the castle. And then the main girl has a twin, but she's like deformed. She has like a scar, and the twin gets picked, but the twin doesn't want to go. So they like do
that's
something
right.
Or something happens where like
they switch or something.
Twin ends up leaving and going.
Yeah.
And then she finds out a bunch.
She gets to the castle, and then the prince is like uber creepy.
There's two princes, though, right?
She has a scar from diving for the pearls because the coral is so dangerous and poisonous. And she hits her cheek, and so she gets poisoned, and
I just remember reading that book, going in blind, not reading the back summary, and you and just laughing at me because literally everything I was saying is on the back, and you're like, just read the back of the book. Like we know that there's two guys, we know that there's two brothers, and we know that there's a mystery. Like that's not, news.
Not a shock to
Why did I not do that?
She goes to the castle on the mainland, and then I think she's supposed to marry this guy, and he ends up being an uber creep, and she's like, what the fuck? And I need to read the second one. I think it's a duology.
A guy that's helping her the whole time, but then she finds out it's his brother, but he hadn't told her that. I don't.
Yeah, it's all there's something confusing. There, but it was really good.
The second one either. It was good.
Yeah, I also like Furyborn. It's a trilogy. And
do you guys like
it has royalty? It has royalty and
do you?
Here's the thing.
It's
I
so
love
good,
that series.
but it'll break your heart. Like it's
so much.
It's so good.
Do I want that?
It's just like it's such a good quality of writing, and like once you get to the end, you're like, this all made so much sense, and I feel heartbroken, but I love it, and like I just want to hug those books. But yeah, they put me through it. They put me through it hard.
Yeah, the first book is so just really good in terms of like there's action, there's magic, there's just all kinds of fun stuff, and the main girl is sassy, and you're like, yeah, I want her to do all the cool things. And then the second book is dark, and you're like, wow, this is dark, what's going on? And that the ending is just like so painful to read. And I had to. How long did we wait for the third book? Like a year?
A long time.
I literally just only thought about the ending of book 2 for a while.
Like bubble map brainstorms of like how do these threads connect? Kind of like a murder board. Erin, it's the same. I would put it on the same level as the Red Rising trilogy, the first 3. The way that like you go through it to get to the end, and you're like, but it's so good, but you got to go through it to get there. There's a lot more, there's like some weird time travel wormhole situation in Furyborn where it's like one's 1,000 years and then one's back in history, and you're trying to figure out what happened and is the past really the way that we think that it is and what's happening. Like there's just so much time
different.
There's time travel, jumping, there's angels, there's magic, and
you don't know if the history you're reading is the actual history of what you're living in or a history that's been altered, and so you're trying to figure that out on top of everything, and you're like, wait, I read this, and this was a clue back here, but now I'm finding out, is it even accurate? And I don't know. So it's really... Oh, it's so good. She did such an amazing job threading all those things together.
I have a question.
It's insane,
I started reading the first book, and because you guys were all like, oh my god, how does it connect? I need to know. And you were like, it was when you were waiting for the third book. And so I started reading the first one, and I was like taking notes about everything. And I think that's why I didn't finish it, because I was just putting way too much effort in. So if I keep reading it, and like, honestly, do I need to try so hard? Will it all make sense if I just like...
You don't need to try.
It will not even make a difference because you still won't figure it out. There are no clues that will really get you to the answer. They will just make your head spin.
Okay, but by the end, it all makes sense.
I'll just trust the process then,
It all makes sense at the end.
Okay.
It is a well-written,
I prefer that, to trust the process.
Time travel fantasy.
Beautiful and perfect, and all of those things.
Bittersweet.
I think I was trying too hard when I tried.
All the feelings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's on my shelf.
I had like a whole notes document and everything.
Someone got it for me for Christmas.
It's so good.
Because I asked for it, and then I just stare
own
at
them.
it.
I need to read them.
Like, I don't know if I'm ready for you, and I'm
no. It's so good.
It is.
Oh, Audric, the character arcs of all of these different characters are just.
All right, people. Got you some Furyborn.
Do it.
Apparently.
All right, I think that we can wrap up with Furyborn and go into our game because I'm excited for it. We're playing He's a 10 Butt. So
I was reading through our list and I love it. I'm so excited.
Oh shoot, and I don't even think I added anything to it. Sorry,
I
guys.
added
That's
4
fine.
things and I didn't read any of the others, so this will be fun.
we have a lot, so I'm just gonna randomly pick like 5 or 6 and then see how it goes.
Sounds good.
Do it.
Okay, let's do. Okay, he's a 6, but he can wait, does everybody know how to play before we get into this?
We're supposed to say if he's a 10 for us or not.
Yeah,
or
so
what
I'm
number
going
he
to
is.
give you a prompt of who this person is, just like a quick description of them, and then you decide based off that description what number you'd actually give them based off of whatever you think.
Right.
So,
Sold.
could be a 10, could be a 2 to you, could be whatever in between, but this is just what's written in here. Okay. He's a 6, but he can shift into a bear, and he lives with his pack in a trailer park.
10.
A 10.
10.
Aaron's like,
Aaron is like a 1.
This is why we read too much T.S. Joyce.
He's in a trailer park, and he's a 6. And
But he's
a bear.
a bear
It's in the
shifter.
woods. You get to live in the woods.
And everyone's
Don't like
you
to
get
live in the woods.
you get to have truck pool parties.
Guys, he
Yeah, they
might
have a hot
still be a
tub pool
6.
in
I
the-
don't know. Maybe okay. The shifting is cool.
They have slip and slides. They have drinking games there. Like it's
There's
come
lots
on.
of drinking games around fire pits.
All
so-
right, maybe an 8. Feels high.
I feel like you guys are just peer pressuring her to
I know.
give a high number.
Love the bear men.
Speak your
you're the
truth,
bear
Aaron.
man.
I would have a fling with the bear man, but I don't think I can be in a trailer park with the bear man forever. Like,
No end game
and
bear
he's a
man.
6. Like, I don't know. That might be judgy. I might be a 6. I don't know, but I don't know.
Okay.
I love it.
He's a 10, but he locks you up behind invisible walls.
Oh, so
A 0.
yeah, 0.
I know who I
Invisible
wrote that
walls.
I know who you wrote that about too.
But like in a sexy way, or like
He locks you up behind invisible walls, and he can
In a
shift
kinky
into
way?
an animal.
okay. That's what
Oh, yeah, 0.
yeah.
It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
That's a no from me too. I mean, that's probably like, well, knowing all I know about him, it's probably not.
I feel like an idiot that I didn't figure that out.
That's who I thought we were talking about. Yeah,
He's a 10.
He's
Alright.
not a 10.
He goes all the way down.
Yeah, he's pretty much.
He's
He's
down.
hot.
like 2.
He's in the negative.
2 or 3 is like generous.
That long blonde hair, he's hot.
He is
guys.
really
He's
hot.
hot, yeah.
You gotta let him.
I
you
was
gotta
in
let
love
him
with
have
it.
that.
I was one of those people that was hardcore in love with
He's
it.
a
Oh, yeah.
beast, man.
I loved
He
it.
is a hot
when
guy.
he got down
Yeah.
on his knees and played the fiddle, like, are you kidding? I love it.
Exactly.
That's what we
Who knew
needed.
the fiddle was
The
so
secret
hot?
pond.
Oh my god, the
Swimming in the
secret
secret
pond
pond?
really got me, you guys.
Oh yeah, it did.
The star pond or whatever.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, honestly, he did have some redeeming
He fooled
qualities
me.
until
yeah,
he didn't.
yeah.
He
That's
did.
why
Until he
I'm
did.
I'm pro redemption
Someday.
arc for him. So
All right,
No,
I'm gonna
no.
give him a 2. Just,
Yeah. 2.
Just
2.
we'll see. All right, she's a 10, but she never shares her war plans with anyone, and always has 10 other secret plans just in case.
So she's
Still
a
a
12.
10. Still a 10.
10. Still a 10. Still a 10.
Still a 10.
Go, Aylin, go.
Go, girl.
Still a 10.
We love
Yeah.
to see it.
Because it works out
I will
in
go
the
hard
end
for that girl.
Because she's
She's smarter than everyone.
she's a genius. She is honestly one of the like
Leave her alone.
smartest female MCs out of all time.
She's the best.
How many times did she pull that shit where you think everything's going wrong and then suddenly she's like, I meant for this to happen the entire
And they're
time.
like, why
She
don't
got
you
me
tell
every
us?
fucking
Somehow.
time.
And she's like,
I know.
because you didn't need to know. It's fine.
She got me every time.
She's
And
literally
I-
got it.
I
So
loved
true.
it.
At the end of not Era of Fire, of Empire of Storms, when those boats come out,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
damn it, girl,
You
really?
know what?
There are a lot of like the best Game of Thrones moments in Throne of Glass. Like all of the
Yeah.
hype scenes where you're like, yes, this is happening.
Yeah.
Like
They're all
that's a
in
good
there.
comparison. So like all the fanboys who are like all about those surprise Game of Thrones twists, like read Throne of Glass, and it's just a better.
You would
And
like
it's so
it.
more
Yeah.
satisfying.
You probably wouldn't, because there's a girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's so
All right,
badass.
He's a 10,
Whatever.
but has 6 kids and runs an entire demon slaying business basically by himself.
10.
10.
10.
I mean, like, realistically, like, maybe a little bit lower, but, like, it's pretty high out there.
Probably a 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 8 just to be different. Because he's not my favorite.
Does he make pancakes really well, though?
He does make
Of
pancakes.
course. I love that.
Okay. He's a
Gotcha.
4, but he's also a virgin, and he can sparkle in the sun, and he can smell really well.
A -2.
0 for me.
There's a lot of questions.
You know what? I will give him 2 points just for all of his murderous thoughts.
Yeah, he can be a 6.
That murdery phase he went through. Why didn't you just stay in it?
Stay in your emo phase. Just
Don't
keep
fight it,
sobbing.
man.
Yeah. Yes.
Deer doesn't taste as good.
No. I'm gonna go with the 2. I was never Team Edward.
I
I
definitely
unfortunately was.
I was hard on Team Edward.
I was team not these books. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
He's an 8. He's an 8, but he can travel through shadows and has a big wingspan.
10
A 20.
10.
plus 20,000.
All of it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's a 9, but he was sent on a mission to spread the plague across the
0. negative 1,000. No.
She falls in love with the plague, bro.
I'm not fucking around with that. No.
He's a 10, but he's the plague, and
I'm
he
gonna
drags
give him
you
a 6.
behind a horse for 20 miles.
Yeah, exactly. 10, but he drags you on the asphalt behind us. Tortures
I'll give it a
you.
5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 5.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hot. Love that.
6 for the long
Big
hair.
0.
He's got a killer man bun game, though.
Yeah. Hot man bun, but
That's
he
true.
tortures
That's at
you.
least 5 points right there.
He's torturing you and murdering the entire planet slowly. What would you say? I was like,
And I still read the second
oh
book.
my God.
I'm kidding. That's no.
I'm kidding, but I'm not really kidding.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's a 7, but he's also your mate, but he has an extendo dick.
It's a 10.
This
for
was me. I'm very proud of it.
You know what? I think I could still make that be a 10.
I think it's still a 10.
Or like
Yeah, I
a
could
9,
do
like
it.
an 8 or 9, maybe 9.
I read those
It'd be
books,
weird,
10.
but I could get into it.
Yeah.
We're forgetting about the pink skin.
If you
but,
guys are
know.
mates, if I have a mate, there's a lot I could forgive if I knew we were actually mates.
You're right. Like, if I knew
Yeah.
that you were my mate.
Same Z's.
I'd be like, it's meant to be. This weird extendo
Yeah,
dick was
it's
always
true.
part of my
He's
future.
a 10 to you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, he's an 8, but thought he was in love with his sister for a quick minute.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's such a good
That's
one.
so good. Oh. Just a
But
quick
it's
minute.
Jace.
Fine.
How do I lower a
Fine.
rating of Jace? Yeah.
I know who it is. Yeah, like, I know who it is, but I also, based on...
How do I
content
do that to
me
him?
to write that description, but that description fits so well for this game. Like, I
It's
have to do
but
it.
also,
perfect.
based on the content provided, the description provided, it's gonna be like a 4
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a 5.
It's not looking
Sorry,
good.
Jace.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's not good.
I'm really proud of that.
I'm glad you got out of your
That
emo
was
phase.
a good one.
Yeah. Just like a quick minute, maybe I am in love with my sister. It's fine. That minute ended. We're past it.
We're married now, it's fine.
Not only that, he made out with her at that time. So, like, let's just
No.
hardcore
wait.
down a hill. So
I thought they did. I thought they only like.
they
don't think-
rolled
I
down
don't
the
think they
hill.
Roll
No,
around
I
in the
think
grass and shit.
I know. I think they only like held hands when they didn't. When they
Yeah,
thought they were
That
related.
does add. I think that's before.
They like made out. Then
Are we
he
thinking
found
of
out.
Sebastian?
Oh,
Does she roll down the
that's
hill
wrong.
with Sebastian, and then he kisses her, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh.
I don't remember.
I mean, we can make that the next one. He's a 7, but he is
He
in
kissed
love
his
with his
sister.
But he is. thought he was in love with his... He is in love with his sister.
He's a 10, but he is actually, in fact, in love with his sister and wants to rule the world with her.
I'm done. I don't think we can end this game.
I give it an 8.
I mean, like literally -1 million. That's disgusting. Is that or the plague guy worse? It's really hard to say.
Incest is worse, I think.
Yeah,
at least the plague was like sent by God. That doesn't make it any better.
Like he had a job and he was doing the job. It was a fucked up job, but he was doing what he was told.
I guess that's true. And then the other one.
Always room for improvement. And the other one, only downhill.
You made a lot of bad choices falling in love with your sister. Maybe don't do that.
A lot of just kept going. Did he make bad choices? I feel like a lot of the stuff was just thrown on him.
Yeah.
Was it?
He had a lot of just different, like, blood injected into him, and he was
also true.
Hey, here's the thing: Magnus is half demon too, so shit don't fly. Thanks. Okay.
All right.
Wow, that was fun.
That's it for our
What a
That
journey.
game was amazing.
We gotta replay this at some point.
Yeah, that was
That
fun.
game was great. Yeah.
Well,
right.
that's it for us, everyone. We hope you join us next weekend, and make sure you follow us on all of the social channels at Emo Girls Guide. We'll see you next time, and may your day be blessed with main character energy.
Main character
Main character energy.